I need you to listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you still doesn't make sense to me. If you've ever worked a night shift alone in a quiet building, you know how strange it can feel. But this was different, because I wasn't supposed to hear footsteps. I wasn't supposed to hear doors opening. And I definitely wasn't supposed to hear someone talking to me when I was the only person in the building. I took this job because I needed money. Simple as that. But if I had known what was waiting for me inside that place, I would have never shown up for my first shift. This is a true story about the night I realized I wasn't working alone. My first shift started at midnight. The building was an old office complex just outside the city. Not completely abandoned, but close. Most of the companies had already moved out. Only a few offices were still active during the day. At night, the entire place was empty. At least, that's what I was told. The manager handed me a key card, a flashlight, and a small radio. He looked tired, quiet, like he didn't want to be there either. Before leaving, he said one thing: do your rounds every hour, and don't stay on the third floor too long. That was it. No explanation. I laughed a little, thinking it was just some weird joke. He didn't laugh back. Midnight hit, and suddenly, the building felt different. Too quiet. The kind of silence where you can hear your own breathing. I started my first round. The first floor was completely empty. Old desks, dust everywhere. Nothing unusual. The second floor was the same, but when I reached the third floor, something felt off. The air was colder. Not normal cold, it felt heavy. Still, like the air wasn't moving at all. I walked slowly down the hallway. My flashlight flickered once. Just once. I stopped, and that's when I heard it. A soft sound, like a chair being dragged across the floor. I froze. There wasn't supposed to be anyone here. I told myself it was just the building making noise. Old pipes, old wood, anything. But then it happened again, this time louder, like something was dragging slowly behind one of the office doors. My heart started beating faster. I stepped closer to the door. Slowly, I reached for the handle, and then suddenly, my radio turned on by itself. Loud static filled the hallway. I jumped back. Then a voice came through, low, distorted. Don't come in. I froze. There was no one else on the frequency. I was working alone. My hands started shaking. I stepped back slowly, and that's when the door started to move, just a little, like someone inside was trying to open it. I didn't wait. I turned around and walked away as fast as I could, but I could feel it. Something behind that door was listening to me. I went back to the security room and checked the cameras. Everything looked normal. Every floor was empty, except one. The third floor camera was glitching. The screen flickered, and for a split second, I saw something. A figure, standing at the end of the hallway, not moving, just staring at the camera. I leaned closer to the screen, and then it disappeared. The hallway was empty again. I told myself I imagined it. I had to, because if I didn't, then that means I wasn't alone in that building. And that was only the beginning. I didn't leave that night. I thought about it a lot, but I needed the money. And more than that, I needed to prove to myself that I wasn't losing my mind. So I stayed. I sat in the security room, staring at the monitors, trying to calm down. Everything looked normal again. All the hallways were empty. No movement, no shadows, nothing. I kept telling myself it was just stress, first night nerves. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. I checked the time. 1:08 a.m. Almost an hour had passed since the last round, which meant it was time to go back out there. I didn't want to, but I grabbed the flashlight anyway, picked up the radio from the floor. For a second, I just stood there, listening. The building was silent again. Too silent. I stepped out into the hallway. Every step echoed louder than it should have. First floor, clear. Second floor, nothing. Then I stood at the bottom of the stairs leading to the third floor. I remember what the manager said. Don't stay there too long. I took a deep breath and went up anyway. The moment I stepped onto the third floor, that same feeling came back. Cold, heavy, like I had just walked into a place where I wasn't welcome. I moved slowly down the hallway. This time, no flashlight flicker, no sound, just silence. Too perfect. I reached the same door from before, the one that moved. I stopped in front of it. The handle was still. The door was closed. Everything looked normal. I stood there for a few seconds, trying to decide what to do. Then I did something I probably shouldn't have done. I pushed the door open, slowly. The room inside was dark. Empty desks, chairs, papers scattered around. Nothing unusual. I stepped inside. My flashlight moved across the room, left to right. Nothing. No one there. I let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding. See, Nothing, I whispered to myself. Just your imagination. Then I heard it. Right behind me, a soft breath. Close. Too close. I froze. My entire body locked up. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear in my ears. Then my radio crackled again. Static and that same voice. But this time, it was clearer. You shouldn't be here. I spun around. No one. The hallway outside was empty. The door behind me was wide open, but I could still feel it. That presence, right behind me, watching me. I backed out of the room slowly, step by step, never turned my back. Then suddenly, the lights on the third floor flickered. Once, twice, then everything went dark. Complete darkness. My flashlight shut off. I hit it with my hand. Nothing. My breathing got faster. I couldn't see anything. And then, footsteps. Somewhere in the hallway. Slow. Heavy. Getting closer. Step, step, step. I couldn't move. I couldn't even breathe properly. The footsteps stopped. Right in front of me. Silence. Then, a whisper. Right next to my ear. You came back. I ran. I didn't care where I was going. I just ran. Down the stairs. Through the hallway. Back to the security room. I slammed the door shut behind me, locked it, and stood there trying to catch my breath. My hands were shaking. I looked up at the monitors. Every floor was visible again. Lights back on. Everything normal, except one thing. The third floor camera. This time, it wasn't glitching. It was clear, and standing in the hallway, right outside that room, was a figure. Tall, still, looking directly at the camera. And slowly, very slowly, it raised its hand and pointed right at me. I couldn't move. I just stood there, staring at the screen. That thing on the third floor, it wasn't moving anymore. Still, silent, but its arm was still raised, pointing straight at the camera, pointing at me. My chest felt tight. There was no way it could see me. The cameras weren't two-way. But somehow, it knew exactly where I was. I leaned closer to the monitor, trying to see its face, but the image looked wrong, blurry, not like a normal camera glitch. More like the camera didn't want to show what it really looked like. Then suddenly, the screen went black, not flickering, not glitching, just black. I tapped the monitor. Nothing. Then the radio in my hand made a sharp noise again. Static, loud, then silence, and then breathing, slow, right through the speaker, like someone was holding the radio very close to their mouth. I slowly lifted it. My hands were shaking. Hello, I said. No response. Just breathing. Then a whisper. Come back. I dropped the radio on the desk. No, I wasn't going back up there. Not again. I sat down in the chair and tried to think. This wasn't normal. Someone had to be inside that building. Maybe another worker. Maybe someone messing with me. That had to be it. There was no other explanation. I grabbed my phone and checked the time. 2:26 a.m. Still hours left of my shift. I looked back at the monitors. Everything looked normal again. First floor, empty. Second floor, empty. Third floor, working again. The hallway was clear. Nothing there. No figure. No movement. I stared at it for a long time, trying to convince myself it was over, that whatever I saw was gone. Then something changed. On the screen, one of the office doors on the third floor slowly opened. No sound, no one visible, just the door moving by itself. I leaned closer. My heart started racing again. The door opened all the way, and inside the dark room, I saw movement, something shifting in the shadows. Then slowly, something stepped out, tall, too thin, moving in a way that didn't look natural. It walked into the hallway and stopped right in the center of the camera view. This time, I could see it better. Not clearly, but enough. Its head was slightly tilted, like it was trying to understand something. Then slowly, it turned and faced the camera again. I felt my stomach drop because I knew what was coming next, and I was right. It lifted its arm again and pointed directly at me, but this time it started walking slowly down the hallway toward the camera. Step, step, step. The image started shaking. The closer it got, the worse the camera looked, like the system couldn't handle it. Then suddenly, all the monitors went out, every single one. Dark. The room went silent. Too silent. Then I heard something outside the security room door. Footsteps. Slow. Heavy. Getting closer. My heart was pounding so loud, I thought it would give me away. The footsteps stopped right outside the door. I didn't breathe. I didn't move. And then the doorknob slowly started to turn. The doorknob didn't stop. It kept turning slowly, like whoever was outside was in a hurry. I just stood there, staring at it. My hand moved without thinking. I grabbed the chair and pushed it hard against the door. The handle stopped moving for a second. Silence, then a soft knock. 1, 2, 3. Not loud, not aggressive, just calm, like it knew I was inside. Like it was waiting for me to answer. I didn't say anything. I didn't move. Then the radio on the desk turned on again. Static. Loud. Then that same voice. But this time it sounded closer. You locked it. My stomach dropped. The voice didn't sound like it was coming from far away anymore. It sounded like it was right outside the door, right next to me. I slowly looked back at the handle. It started moving again, this time harder, faster. The chair shook against the door. I backed away, step by step. My eyes never left that door. Then suddenly, everything stopped. No movement, no sound, nothing, just silence again. I waited. 1 minute, 2 minutes. I don't know how long I stood there, but nothing happened. Slowly, I stepped closer to the desk. The monitors flickered back on, one by one. First floor, empty. Second floor, empty. Third floor. My breath stopped. The camera showed the hallway and the door to the security room. From the outside, and standing there right in front of the door, was that figure, completely still, facing the door, facing me. I stumbled back. That was impossible. If it was outside my door, then how was I seeing it on the camera at the same time? I looked back at the door in front of me. Nothing. No shadow under the door. No sound. I looked back at the monitor again. The figure was still there, not moving. Then slowly, it leaned forward, closer to the door, like it was trying to listen. My heart started racing again. Then it did something worse. It lifted its hand and knocked on the camera screen. I saw it knock at the exact same moment. I heard it right in front of me. 3 knocks, same rhythm, same sound. I stepped back, shaking. This didn't make sense. None of it made sense. Then suddenly, the lights inside the security room flickered. Once, twice, then the radio turned on again. But this time, there was no static, no delay, just a voice, clear, right next to my ear. Open the door. I turned around fast. No one behind me, but I could feel it, that same presence, closer than ever, watching me, breathing, waiting. I grabbed the flashlight again. It turned on this time. A weak beam of light filled the room. I pointed it at the door. The handle was still, no movement. I looked back at the monitor. The third floor camera was empty. The figure was gone, completely gone, like it was never there. I swallowed hard, tried to breathe, tried to think. Then I noticed something. On the screen, the camera had changed. It wasn't showing the hallway anymore. It was showing inside the security room. My heart dropped because on the screen, I could see myself standing there, holding the flashlight, looking at the monitor. And right behind me, there was something else. Tall, dark, standing just a few inches away from me, watching me. I couldn't breathe. I just stood there, staring at the screen. On the monitor, I could see myself. And right behind me, that thing, standing so close, it felt like if I moved even an inch, I would touch it. But I didn't feel anything behind me. No breath, no movement, nothing. My hands started shaking. Slowly, I turned around. There was nothing there. Empty room. Just me. I looked back at the monitor. It was still there, still standing behind me, still watching. My heart started racing faster than ever. This wasn't real. It couldn't be real. Then slowly, on the screen, it started to move. Not fast, not aggressive, just slow, controlled movement. Its head tilted slightly, like it was studying me. Try to understand me. I stepped back, but on the screen, it didn't match my movement exactly. It moved differently, like it wasn't following the same rules. That's when I realized something. The camera wasn't showing the present. It was showing something else. Something slightly delayed, or maybe something that hadn't happened yet. My chest tightened. I didn't want to test that idea, but I couldn't look away either. Then suddenly, on the screen, it lifted its arm, slowly, reaching toward me, toward my shoulder. I froze, because in real life, I still didn't feel anything. But I knew something was about to happen. Then I felt it, a cold touch, right on my shoulder. I gasped. My entire body went stiff. It wasn't a light touch. It was firm, real, like someone was standing right behind me, holding me in place. I couldn't move. I couldn't even turn my head. My eyes slowly moved back to the monitor, and what I saw made my stomach drop. On the screen, its face was closer now, right next to mine, but still, I couldn't see it clearly, just a dark shape, distorted, wrong. Then it leaned in, closer and closer, until its head was right next to my ear. At the exact same moment, in real life, I felt something near my ear, breathing, cold, slow, and then it whispered, "You stayed too long." I broke. I shoved myself forward, out of its grip, fell to the floor, scrambled back against the wall. The pressure on my shoulder disappeared. I looked around the room. Nothing there. Nothing at all. I looked back at the monitor. It was gone. The screen was normal again. Just me alone in the room. But I knew the truth now. It wasn't stuck on the third floor. It wasn't stuck in the hallway. It could move anywhere, and it had just been right behind me. I pushed myself up and grabbed my bag. I didn't care about the job anymore. I didn't care about the money. I was leaving. Right now, I moved toward the door slowly. My hand reached for the handle. I hesitated for a second. Then I opened it. The hallway outside was empty, silent, normal, too normal. I stepped out carefully, looking left, then right. Nothing. I started walking, fast, trying not to run, trying not to panic. But deep down, I knew something. It wasn't over, because as I reached the end of the hallway, the lights above me flickered, one by one, following me like something was moving right above me, in the ceiling, tracking me. I stopped walking. The lights above me, they weren't flickering randomly. They were turning off one by one, right above my head, following me. I looked up at the ceiling. White tiles, old, slightly cracked. Nothing unusual, but I could hear it. A faint sound, movement, right above me, like something was crawling, slowly, tracking every step I took. My chest tightened. I started walking again, faster this time. The lights kept going out above me, one after another, staying dark behind me, like the building was closing in. I reached the stairwell door and pushed it open. It slammed behind me louder than I expected. The echo filled the entire stairwell. For a second, everything went silent again. Then, a loud thump above me from the ceiling of the stairwell. I froze. Another thump, closer this time. Dust fell from one of the ceiling panels. Something was moving fast now, right over my head. I didn't wait. I started running down the stairs. My footsteps echoed loudly with every step. 1 floor, 2 floors. I reached the ground level and pushed the exit door open. Cold air hit my face. I stepped outside. Finally, I was out, or at least I thought I was. The parking lot was empty. No cars, no people, just dim streetlights and silence. I walked away from the building, fast, trying not to look back. My heart was still racing. My hands were shaking. I just wanted to get as far away as possible. Then I heard it, behind me, the door, slowly opening. I stopped. I didn't want to turn around. Every part of me said, don't do it. But I did, slowly. I looked back. The door to the building was open, wide open, darkness inside. No light, no movement, nothing. Then something stepped into the doorway, that same figure, tall, still, watching me, even from a distance. I could feel it staring at me. My chest felt tight again. I took another step back, then another, but it didn't move. It just stood there, like it was waiting, like it knew I wasn't really gone. Then it lifted its arm again, slowly, and pointed, not at the building, not at the ground, at me. I turned around and ran. This time I didn't care. I ran as fast as I could, down the street, past the empty road. I didn't stop until I reached my car. I got inside, locked the doors, and started the engine. My hand was shaking so bad, I almost dropped the keys. I looked up, and that's when I saw it again, in the rear view mirror, standing in the middle of the road, far behind me, still watching. I blinked, and it was gone, just empty road again. I didn't wait. I drove, fast, didn't look back again. I thought it was over. I thought I got away. But later that night, when I finally got home and checked my phone, I saw something that made my blood run cold. A missed call from my work radio system. Time, 2:17 a.m. And under it, a voicemail. I stared at my phone for a long time. A missed call from the radio system. That wasn't possible. The radio wasn't connected to my phone. There was no way it could call me. But there it was, right on the screen. And below it, a voicemail. My hand felt cold as I tapped it. For a second, nothing played. Just silence. Then static. Soft at first. Then louder. Then breathing. Slow. Heavy. Exactly like the sound I heard inside the building. My heart started racing again. I pulled the phone away from my ear, but I didn't stop the message. I had to hear it. Then A voice, low, clear, right into the speaker. You left. I froze. The voice continued. But you didn't clock out. My chest tightened. That didn't make sense. None of this made sense. Then the voice dropped lower, almost like a whisper. So you're still on shift. I ended the voicemail immediately. My hands were shaking again. I locked my doors, checked every window, turned on every light in my apartment. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. Every small sound made me jump. Every shadow felt wrong, like something was there, just out of sight. Morning finally came. Sunlight filled the room. Everything looked normal again. Safe, but I knew it wasn't. I knew something had followed me. I tried to forget about it. Told myself it was over, that I got out in time. I even quit the job that same day. Never went back. Never answered their calls. But 3 nights later, at exactly 2:17 a.m., my phone rang. I didn't want to look, but I did. A known number. I let it ring, and ring, and ring. Then it stopped. A few seconds later, another voicemail. I didn't want to play it, but something inside me forced me to. I pressed play. Static again. Then silence. Then a sound that made my entire body freeze. A door opening. Slow. Creaking. Then footsteps. Inside a room. My room. I looked up immediately. My apartment was silent. Nothing moving. Nothing there. But on the voicemail, the footsteps were getting closer. Step, step, step. Then they stopped right in front of the phone, right in front of me. And then that same voice, right into the speaker. I'm still here. The message ended. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I just sat there staring at the door to my room because slowly, very slowly, the handle started to turn. If you made it this far, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories like this. And tell me in the comments, what would you do if that handle started moving in your room right now?